Human Resources Management Group project, examining the impact of generating artificial intelligence on employee well-being and work dynamic. Introduction. The focus of this project is exploring the impact of generative AI, especially ChatGPT, on employee well-being and work outcomes. The objective of the project is to gain insights into how AI tools affect morale, engagement, productivity, efficiency, job satisfaction, job security, leisure, and work life balance. The project involves qualitative research by conducting interviews with three candidates using AI tools. The project was conducted by six students of the Strategic Human Resource Management course at Trent University, supervised by Professor Amina Malik. This project is structured into distinct sections: introduction, literature review, data analysis, discussion, recommendations, and references.
We have done the literature review regarding whether the adoption of generative AI will have impact to the employees. Our study includes the following aspects. The first one is job satisfaction, work and engagement. The second is efficiency and productivity. And then the job security, work-life balance and leisure time, well-being and dynamic, quality of outcome, and the last one is ethical. In the first page, according to the research in Japan, the adoption of AI can increase the job satisfaction and morale by about 20%. Similar results are obtained for the job engagement. It is because AI can always handle the repetitive works that free the employees time to do some creative works. On the other hand, for example, if AI are adopted for 24 hours customer hotline, it can provide quick and accurate solution and to raise the customer's satisfaction. For efficiency and productivity, over 60 to 80% of employees advise that their performance are increased. It is because AI can always work for multiple tasks in high speed with reliable results. For job security, it finds that if the works are mainly involve routine work such as data entry and manufacturing, it is a high risk for job replacement. In contrast, if it involves implementation of AI and robotics, it will improve the job security.
So, it comes down to the next part of the literature review, where generative AI, focuses on work life balance and leisure time. The flexibility of remote work introduces like flexible work schedule that we are getting to see a positive impact on tasks efficiency and productivity as well is going up when people or employees are starting to use like generative AI. The escalation of work flexibility and work contribution to an escalation where work flexibility has happening, which is on a positive scale that enhances a proper work life balance that we get to see, which is growing up when generative AI is taking place. But there are some several consideration or concerns that we do get to see, like the working pressure has increased. There are educational disparities that are happening, which is like higher pressure on particular employees that do not have higher education or literacy knowledge on how to use certain level of AI. And this is why there is a pressure and there is challenges inside workplaces that we do get to see. So there are areas where we see a positive impact, like where people are getting like remote access to work and all. Whereas at the same time, where low skilled workers are kind of like in pressure or they are in a risk of losing jobs at the similar time. So this is what generative AI is kind of like bringing up to certain areas of workplaces. So in conclusion, like remote workplaces brings both positive and flexible changes, but there are certain amount of increased pressure that also comes up. So the next slide is all about like well-being, work dynamics, and quality outcomes, right? So the dual impact where AI transform workplace dynamic into positively and introduces challenges as well. Employee empowerment where automation empowers employee by streamlining tasks. So employees get to like work in a very good way where the productivity and the efficiency of work goes up. But job displacement can be an ethical concern here as well. When it comes to the well-being part, generative AI characters have the potential to enhance well-being in media content where the engagement levels are kind of like high, where AI characters improve like wider viewers engagement, where personalization can be taken into consideration, where tailored contents for individual preferences foster more immersive experience that we get to see as well. So that is for the quality outcomes and the well-being and in for like work dynamics. The next slide is all about like well-being, work dynamics, and ethical outcomes as well. So when it comes to ethical outcome, right, we see like privacy where plagiarism takes place because generative AI kind of like takes things from all areas, right? And it kind of like combines into it. So when when plagiarism or tools that detect plagiarism can be utilized on areas like this, then we get to see like a the plagiarism content goes up and bias mitigation also happen. This highlights the importance of addressing bias in AI algorithms. That means like where privacy is kind of like taken up into a broader level. So that is something that we are looking into. And there is a responsible AI governance that needs to be established because uh, we want to make sure like AI is used in a very ethical way. It's not like where like data breaches or information is being compromised. Things like this do not to happen. When we see quality outcomes and this thing decision making and innovation where generative AI contributes to improve decision making and innovation as well, balancing the outcome is quite important because strive for a balance between quality outcomes and ethical considerations as well mentioned. So that is it.
Hi, I'm Kamran, and I'll be taking you through the methodology. So for the research project, we gathered primary research through interview. There were three Zoom interviews conducted. We selected participants from the aviation, transport and warehousing, and the financial industry. The participants selected also represented different function roles and seniority level. One of the participants was a junior HR generalist. Another was from mid-level data analyst, and finally there was a director of transformation. And as you can see, so each of them represented different senior levels or seniority level in the workplace. And also we followed proper decorum before, like while conducting the interview, where participants were made aware of their rights to refuse to respond or if they wanted to withdraw from the interview. Next, I'll walk through the findings. So we kind of accumulated all the findings in terms of the different points that we found from the question. The first was frequency and familiarity. All the interviewee are aware and they are using ChatGPT or other generative tools in varying degrees in their work. For type of work, mostly A and B mentioned that they are using it for content creation, like letters and email, um, Excel functions like writing repetitive macros. C mentioned that it's mostly being used for editing and work correction. On the efficiency and productivity part, for generative AI just replaced all the manual functions for him. For B, something similar. For participant B, it was saving time on repetitive tasks that she could just get it done through ChatGPT. For C, he used the generative AI for verifying the work of his team. As far as supervisory approval and guideline is concerned, initially the participants mentioned that their supervisors were unaware of generative AI and its implication in workplace, but with time they became aware of it, and later it was adapted into the workplace, but with, of course, specific guidelines. I remember participant B mentioning that her company selected a particular AI tool that could be used at the workplace. For quality of output and whether it required readjustment, A and B both mentioned that uh, AI tools just provide them with a framework. The rest of the part, more strategic tasks, they have to do it themselves. C mentioned that it's okay for operational tasks, but it's not a very good tool to execute strategic tasks. And finally, all of them agreed that the work always needed some readjustment. You cannot just trust blindly upon AI to do your work. Going further to job satisfaction, engagement, and morale, B had very good positive remarks on the use of AI and how it increased her job satisfaction, engagement, and morale. However, we found that A and C denied any visible impact. For job security, none of the participants had any concern for job security because they all agreed that AI is being just used for operational tasks, and whatever the strategic tasks they had to do it themselves. Regarding work life balance, again, A and C were on the same boat where they mentioned that it had no impact on their work life balance. B had a more positive outlook towards AI tools and said that as she is a non native English user, it helped her to get tasks done quickly and easily, and she could actually focus on other aspects of her personal life by getting the jobs done. And then regarding the ethical implication and data privacy, all participants were very sensitive to the ethical implication. They understand that discretion has to be used as what contents you want to put in AI, and particularly C, being a senior level employee in a leadership position, warrants thorough understanding of data leakage from his team. He needs his team members to know what exact information of the company that can be put in AI. Regarding recommendation, their tunes were all similar. They said that the spread of AI at workplace is imminent. You cannot stop it. Management should rather embed it instead of obstructing it. And of course, when used progressively, AI can play a very positive part in the growth of the business. And that will be my part.
Okay, I want to appreciate my peers for explaining about introduction, literature review, methodology, and findings. Now I'm gonna explain about data analysis. For this part, we compared literature review with the original data analysis. Then finding reveals that parallel trends and at the same time some conflicting observation between these two sources, literature review and original data analysis. For the first part, we reviewed job satisfaction, morale, and engagement. Uh, Literature review suggests a positive correlation between AI utilization and job satisfaction, and that is aligned with data analysis about participant A and B, but conflicting view received from participant B because they believe that limited uses and minimal impact of AI on job satisfaction due to their nature of senior level role. Then we reviewed efficiency and productivity. Participant highlighted time-saving benefit for using AI, like literature review that illustrated how AI streamlines operation, especially for repetitive tasks. At the same time, literature review showed that a significant positive impact on workers' productivity, while participants had the same idea. And for job security, there was conflicting view between literature review and interviewees' view, while literature review showed that potential for job transformation and displacement due to advancement of artificial intelligence. The interviewee expressed their significant concerns about their job security. They didn't express any significant concern about their job security. Then about work-life balance, while AI efficiency allow for increased flexibility and remote work concerns regarding increased work pressure and surveillance impact on well-being were apparent in both literature review and data analysis. And for well-being and work dynamics, the ranging influence of AI systems on various workplace dynamic in both sources, positive impact on empowerment, motivation, and empowered process, aligned with literature emphasizes on AI potential to streamline operation and enhance the employee's experience. And the quality and consciousness of outcome, both sources acknowledge that augmenting efficiency and promoting creativity through AI, but concerns over accuracy and control of generated content are prevalent for both data, original data analysis and literature review. And for ethical issue, both sources underscored some issues like privacy concerns, data security, bias, and plagiarism. And the interviewees expressed vigilance regarding confidence and ethical use of AI, paralleling with the literature where it emphasized on the necessity for clear policies and training to address ethical challenges. That's all from me. I hand it over to Paul. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take it over from here. According to my colleagues' funding, we both agree that the AI generative tool is gonna trigger a huge trend shift in human resource market, and the traditional working practice will be changing a lot, and it could generate a lot of opportunities and risk for the companies to take over or face the challenges. And so here are some recommendations for company to practice and in order to of benefits for to the opportunities and trying to avoid the risk as much as possible. So first, we would suggest company to define scope and extent of using AI tools in their daily working. Like the company need to have specific regulations to define that what kind of jobs can be performed by AI generative tools and what kind of job cannot be. And also is what kind of job can be completely done by AI and what kind of job need to be supervised by human effort. And also, we would like to suggest company to have a complete data privacy protection procedures, because since there are no legislation for data privacy and protections, which set it by federal governments. So it's pretty much dependent on the private sectors to implement those procedures in order to prevent data leakage and which could trigger financial loss or jeopardize company's financial situation. We would also like to suggest company to provide relevant training and guidelines for employees to improve their AI generative tools using capabilities. Those kind of training will make sure that employees know how to use AI generative tools and how to use within the company allowed uh, field of works. And we will. Another thing is the quality control of the AI generated works. According to our participants, they both claim that sometimes AI generated tools could generate wrong results, and the correctness of the outcome is a problem. So the company should set a quality control team in order to help improve the working outcome quality. And companies should also follow up and monitoring the technology updates in order to keep their software updated. So the better version of the AI generative tools are likely to present more precise and accurate outcomes. And last but not least, the company should comply with the legal requirements which set by the governments. Moving on. And for the employees, I would not like to, I wouldn't want to spend too much time on this because it's pretty similar to the organization side. Just one thing you need to remember is employees should actively participate in the training provided by the organization, which about how to use AI generative tools effectively. And they also need to be aware about the data privacy. Uh, Remember to keep the confidential data within the organization and do not fall into data leakage threats. And for the society part, since there is no present law regulate the use of AI tools, so the government should implement relevant legislation and law enforcement in order to perform its overall regulating duty. And AI software developers should enhance the data protection in order to make the organization feel more safe to use those AI tools and be free from the data leakage threats. And organizations should try to adopt AI tools in workplace with caution because right now AI tools adoption is a future trend. So there's no way to stop employees from using them. So it's better to regulate them, and provide relevant training for the employees to capture the necessary skills in how to safely and effectively using AI generative tools. And also, the public should raise up their awareness about potential data privacy risk, which brought by those AI tools. So it's always good to keep in mind that what data and what information you can put into AI generative tools and what you cannot. And also, the the job insecurity should be aware by the public because it significantly lowered the entry level for most of the job. And since everyone had the open access to the AI generative tools. And so that's all of our recommendation and also the end of our presentation. And thank you for listening.